Welcome back, folks, to the Business Blast. This episode of the Business Blast is brought to you by Satco. They do the light thing. They do the right thing, Greg.
Yeah, what a great motto or theme to go by in the Business Blast, because that's what this is about, is figuring out what the right thing to do is in business. And Satco is one of the best in the business, in the lighting business, to get after it. Great company.
Go to satco.com, baby. That's satco.com. We do the light thing. We do the right thing. I love it when Alan Karen says something like, who am I to say? I support all the products. If you're an electrical distributor and you need to pick up a light bulb selling company, a lighting line, go with Satco, satco.com. What's up, Greg?
How you been? 2020, we're here, getting after it.
We made it. Oh, man.
All right.
I'm so glad that 2019 is behind me. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you ready for the big year?
I'm ready.
All right,
I want
let's
to
do
sell
it.
more stuff. So how do I do it,
That's
Greg?
what it's all about. Well, you need salespeople, right?
Okay.
And I know you're a salesperson. I'm a salesperson, but our companies
I'm an
survive because of
entrepreneur.
salespeople.
You're a
Yeah,
salesperson.
whatever you want to say. You sell stuff, all right? So our companies, especially, everybody needs to be involved in the sales process to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it 15 years now. You've been a little longer. But if you were going to pick one trait or one skill, I don't know if that's the right word, that you would look for in a salesperson, what would it be?
Follow up.
Follow up. Okay.
I think
Tell me about it.
the most important thing when I tell people, so our salespeople spend all their time selling projects. So we're project addicts, we're rebate addicts, we're selling projects all day long. So here's the pitch. This is not a tough pitch. Hello, how's it going? Good. Would you like to have more light at 50% less energy and the government pays for like 30 to 50%? That's not a tough pitch, right?
Correct.
If you say that 100 times a day, you're going to get 5 to 10 people bite on that. You go out and do a proposal, and then you come back into your office and you type it up and you send it over to the guy, and then you follow up.
Correct.
And then you follow up. And then you follow up. And then you follow up. And it's interesting because we just closed a deal for a hardware store that's in a town called Newmarket. It ain't White Bear Lake, but it's kind of like White Bear Lake. Mm-hmm. And it's up there in north of Toronto. Nice little town. And we followed up 47 times.
You counted, kept track.
Well, I saw the list. I saw the task. And I went through like 3 different people. Like different people worked at a company during that time. And they came in and they picked it up and followed up. And then somebody edited the proposal and resent it. And then they followed up. And then it went over to someone else and they followed up 47 times. We followed up. And it was a nice deal. It took 4 years to close and it was all follow-up.
I tell our reps a lot too, is that everybody's going to do what we're proposing. It's just a matter of when they do it.
Right.
So if you stay on it and you follow up, eventually you're going to have a shot at it. You might not sell it, but you have a shot at it.
I'll take a dorky, kind of like shy, anxious person, but has the ability to follow up over like a wheelie dealy swinger guy that forgets every day.
Sure.
Follow up. Number one thing for sales.
Your follow up. So mine, it has to do with that, but I think it's like a bigger, broader term that I came up with. And you've used it and we've talked about it before, but it's empathy. So I think if a salesperson has empathy, it's going to really put them over the top. And because follow up is just a part of empathy to me. It's like, that you need to do that. That's part of what it comes down to. But in terms of being empathetic in the sales process, and I just did this exercise with my company. We had our yearly meeting and we sat down and we looked at different types of companies. And you need to figure out how you can empathize with a person. And if you can do that successfully, I feel like you can have a lot better chance to sell to them. And what I mean by that. So you need to figure out, what is that company thinking and feeling? What are their thoughts? What are their feelings, positive and negative? What's going through their head? What are they hearing from others? What kind of things do they hear on a daily basis? What do they see? What are they physically seeing with their eyes, and what are they saying and doing? If you understand all that stuff and their pain points, then you're going to be able to be better at selling whatever it is that you're selling. So you empathize with the person. You need to be a good listener. You can't be doing all the talking. You need to listen to them. Going back to what Alan said, who am I to say what they want? I'm going to listen to what they want, and I'm going to sell them what they want.
Sure.
You can suggest, for sure, using your experience and your knowledge, but be a good listener. You don't interrupt. You hear people out. That's part of being a good listener, right? hear what they have, and by hearing what they tell you, you can uncover what their needs are. And when you get to that point, then you can sell to them. You be respectful of their opinions as well. You listen to what they have to say, what they think. You don't say, "Oh, you're wrong. You should do it this way."
Oh
You say,
man,
"Okay, I
thanks,
get where
buddy.
you're
See you
coming
later.
from." Yeah, exactly.
No, but
You say, "I get where you're coming from,"
there's
and do
nothing
that.
worse than going into a sales call with like a person who's got 2 years of lighting experience or something.
And they know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Oh
is what you
man.
do.
Yeah.
Not the case. You
No.
listen to them. You let them tell you what they want. Again, you suggest based on
Who are you to
experience.
say? I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, the person may have their reasons for making their choices. I mean, I just sold a guy 100 right now. 120
Mhm.
15 watt T6 candle clear 145 volt.
It's because you wanted them.
I happened to take the call on the order desk. I
Yep.
suggested, "Hey, you want to buy these LEDs and then you don't have to buy those again?" Nope.
Right.
Not in the budget.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No problem. What do you want? 120 of those? No problem.
Yeah.
That's it. But you know what's
Right.
interesting? I'm going to tell you the story of the 3 employees. You tell me which one empathized and
Mhm.
which one sympathized and which one showed pity. So when you're talking about empathy, you're talking about the compassion family of emotions. So the compassion family is made up of empathy, sympathy, and pity.
Okay.
Okay? And I want, actually, rather than tell me which one's empathy, I want you to tell me which one of these employees is most likely to get invited over to his boss's house for a barbecue. Okay?
Mhm.
So, boss X is having trouble with his computer. Okay? And one of his employees walks in, and boss X says, "Hey, Mr. Employee, every time I use my computer, it doesn't work." And employee X goes, "Oh, move out of the way, boss." And he goes in and he types something on the computer, and and all of a sudden it starts up and fixes. And boss looks at him and goes, "Hey, employee X, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. That's great." Okay, reset it. So the boss is sitting there and he's having problems with his computer, and he's typing on his computer, and he can't get it to start. And employee Y comes in. And employee Y says, "Hey, employee Y, I can't seem to start my computer. I can't seem to get it started." And he's like, "Well, what you got to do, boss, is you got to do a hard reset. And then I want you to go to the start menu there. Yeah, see that start menu? And I want you to change your password. See that? So every time that happens, you just do that and your computer is going to work." And the boss turns to him and goes, "Hey, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate that." Okay. And then the third guy comes in, press reset on the thing. The boss is sitting there. His computer won't start. He can't get his computer to work. And the third employee Z, walks in, and the boss says to him, "Hey, employee Z, I can't seem to get my computer to work." And employee Z looks at the screen. He goes, "Shoot, man, I hate it when that happens." Hits the boss on the shoulder and walks away. Okay? Which employee is most likely to get invited to his boss's house for a barbecue?
The one that related to him. Empathy.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So the third one is the guy who showed empathy. Because empathy is about positioning yourself at the same level as the person.
Mhm.
Okay? The other two compassion emotions, sympathy and pity, position you as being above the person you're helping. So when you sympathize with somebody, sympathy is very, very important in the business world because we want to show each other. Everybody always says the second person is most likely, but that's actually not true. Because now they all might get invited for a barbecue, who knows? But in my little anecdote, what happens is the person that shows compassion is less likely to be genuinely liked by the person. And the person that shows pity is the least likely to be liked by the person. The most likely is the person that empathizes and goes, "Yeah, I hate that when it happens." And
It's because
moves
you're
on.
relatable.
You're
And that's what a lot of sales is about, is being relatable. Like, you understand where they're coming from, you understand their opinions, feelings, thoughts. And if you understand that, you can sell to them, relate to them.
Right. And a lot of people are going to be listening to this in the business class and go, what the hell is Colligan saying? I want to have the second guy working for me. I want the second guy or the first guy. I don't want some jerk who's just going to look at my screen or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's actually not true. We humans, in our ignorance, we love to be empathized with. We love to be agreed with. And sometimes the sales process goes against your instincts of what's best for the customer. But what I would say is very, very, very carefully make a suggestion of what you think is best for the customer. Maybe push for it, but in the end, find a way to empathize. And you're way more likely to sell. I totally agree with you.
Good call.
Folks, you got to work with the empathetic lighting company, satco.com. That's SATCO.com. They do the light thing. They do the right thing. You know, been in business a long time. They got deep roots in this game. And if you're an electrical distributor or a lighting distributor and you want someone that almost has everything, you got to go to SATCO.com. That's satco.com. We do the right thing. We do the light thing. Thanks for listening.